What's up, everybody? 5869 with another episode of From Lane to Lane, sent in by somebody who seems to be a pretty big fan of mine, Paschetti, sending me replay analysis games and From Lane to Lane games, pub games, and I've had a lot of fun with them so far. And this one probably gonna be just as awesome as it's gonna be a pretty high skill game. Paschetti himself somewhere around 4.4k. MYS though, I believe MYS is somewhere around 5.3k if I remember correctly. I was in a party with him not that long ago. 5.3 or 5.6 maybe, even something like that. I don't know. Can't really remember all that well, but it is going to be somewhere close to the 5k mark. Average MMR this game, if I had to make a guess, I'd say it's probably somewhere around there. Maybe high 4k, 4.8, 4.9 somewhat, but it's going to be a pretty exciting game. Paschetti has been practicing his offlane a little bit, and he'll be playing the offlane Legion Commander. Pseudo-Me will be taking up this mid lane Storm Spirit. MIS is going to be the support shaker alongside Raeba Reborn, and that's going to leave Safe Farm on the Safe Farm Phantom Assassin. Meanwhile, on the Dire, it's going to be Layara on the mid lane Kunkka. That's going to leave Duoc, actually maybe not on the mid lane Kunkka, it's going to be on the off lane Kunkka alongside Duoc, who's going to be over here on the Shadow Shaman, as 112 is going to take this mid lane with the Shadow Fiend, and that's going to leave Yakus as this Keeper of the Light, supporting up Medusa, SKTB, and they're going to be in the dual safe lane up against Paschetti here. So going to be pretty interesting to see how this game starts out and who's really going to start to take an early lead here, who's going to start to maybe, fail a little bit in the laning stage. But if it's anything like any other From Lane to Lane game, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. The last game that Paschetti sent me was quite possibly the best game that I've seen in a long time. Surprisingly enough, we are going to see Shadow Fiend versus Storm Spirit mid, despite this being 6.85. Don't see Storm Spirit all that much here. Lich, definitely a big pick in 6.85. As well as Shadow Shaman as well. That nice buff to Shackles really makes that 1-1-2 build really strong. 2 points into Shackles early on. A lot of people don't expect that much damage, but 180 damage, 3.5 second stun is, or I guess you could say lockdown is pretty huge. Paschetti is going to eat a Keeper of the Light Blast, and I'm not sure how the Coddle can see Paschetti there. Does he? Oh, he's got the ward, and you can see him through the broken tree there. That's pretty unlucky, as Paschetti is just trying to trade last hits a little bit here. Does have the passive now. Is going to throw down an overwhelming odds while bot lane. It is going to be a tri-lane versus a dual lane, and this is most likely where we're going to see a lot of our action here. So the Kunkka is going to eat a dagger. Right, but it's just going to use the sacrifice on a creep, and that sacrifice being so strong. Surprisingly enough, it won't really be a roaming Lich that we see a lot more often now. They are going to place out a couple of sentry wards here, looking for an observer. They aren't going to find any observer ward, though, as the Dire doesn't have one in the spot lane, it seems. As they're pinging out the Kunkka, they may want to make a go on him, and he's way too far out now. It looks like there's the Lich going to start things off. The Fissure to follow it up. Safe Farm going on the complete wrong hero, though, and he could find himself in a bit of an odd position as the Torrent isn't going to be enough to keep the Kunkka alive. We've got one more dagger. Now we can throw that on a Duoc here, who's got to be a little bit careful, and it shouldn't be enough to get the kill. We don't have enough mana on the Lich, but Safe Farm really wants to dive it right now. Going to get hexed up under tower. Has the dagger, and the Blink Strike really needs to salve up. Not going to help him, though. He is going to go down, and that's going to be one kill. Almost two now. Courier going to bring in Raeba Reborn. At least give him something here. Or was that for him? It looks like, no, that was actually for the PA here. And instead, they're probably just going to drop it in lane for her once she respawns. And there it is. Just going to wait around a little bit. So bot lane, there it is. It's going to be a 2-for-1. So where did somebody else die in this game? Oh, yes. That makes sense. I knew that. Saw the Shadow Shaman die. Not really sure how I missed that one or what I was thinking there, but Safe Farm does go the 1-1-1 build here. Surprisingly enough, doesn't have the Orb of Venom, which is really what we see PA kind of get her peak through, is that Orb of Venom early game. The Stifling Dagger does apply the Orb of Venom proc, and that's a huge slow when you're going to hit somebody, look to get a kill there. The Orb of Venom alongside the Stifling Dagger is so difficult to deal with, and this Kunkka has to get real close to this creep wave, and alongside the Earthshaker, this Lich and the PA have a lot of kill potential in the bot lane. Mid lane, though, Shadow Fiend getting a little bit low, does have his bottle now, and he's going to be pretty happy with where he's at right now. 13 for 5 off against the 12 for 4 on the Storm Spirit, and I think Shadow Fiend, especially now, a much stronger hero. Didn't really receive any nerfs whatsoever in 6.85, and he's pretty happy with that, as he's in a really good position, or a really good place, I guess you could say, game-wise, as Liara is going to tank up a lot of harass over here from the Lich. MYS does have the Fissure, only level 2 now, and there it is. Look at Dwoke, going to take up so much damage. The follow-up isn't going to be enough to get the kill, as it looks like he's not going to be able to get around that Fissure. Easy kill for the Radiant here, yet again in this safe lane, as this dual lane not really working out so much. It is going to be the 4-minute rune over here for Liara. It's going to be an Invis rune as well. It's just going to take it for himself here, not really going to be able to gank this Storm Spirit. Looks like he may try for it, and if he gets a Torrent, it could be enough here, but that's going to be very difficult to land. But a Torrent, as well as a couple raises followed up, should be enough to kill this Storm Spirit here. Is Liara is ready to go for it. Pseudo-Me is going to throw out the Torrent, not going to land though. And there it is. It's going to be a lot of wasted time now. 112 is going to throw out the right click as well as the raise here anyways, this top lane. It looks like Pasquetti does manage to find his bottle. Is just going to use the bottle up a little bit here. Looking like he wants to rotate for the rune. Definitely not going to be there though. So just going to turn back around and try to get whatever he can out of the lane. 3 points in overwhelming odds. And Legion Commander getting some sizable buffs here, I'd say, within the last 2 patches. We've seen overwhelming odds buffs, base damage buffs, and that's pretty massive. Meanwhile, mid lane Storm Spirit barely going to get the kill on the Shadow Fiend, it seems. Going to eke out of this one with about 40 HP, and he's going to stick around the lane here. Not really all too worried about a Kunkka running up, but Kunkka is going to do so now and won't be able to find the kill on the Pseudo-Me as he's a little bit too far off. He's going to pick up his boots, probably work towards the Soul Ring next. I think you still want to go for the Bloodstone here. Kunkka getting a little bit low mid lane. The Fissure is going to be enough to get the kill. MYS, what a player. Seeing that the Kunkka is getting way too low there, and that's a free kill for the Shaker, who's going to find himself level 3 now as well. That's that level 2 Fissure, still unsure of what he wants to go for just yet. He's going to soak up a little bit of EXP in the mid lane, probably find his level 4, I believe, before the Storm Spirit comes back. Maybe not though, just a little bit off that, as Pseudo-Me is going to bottle himself up. Not going to bottle MYS up though, and sure, MYS was hoping for at least 1 bottle charge. As top lane, Pasquetti getting a little bit low. There is an Orb of Venom, it seems, on the Medusa. Try and get a little bit of a slowdown. And Safeguard, meanwhile, doesn't have an Orb of Venom of his own still. Is doing really well in this lane, especially after the Kunkka left. He's looking to secure the 6-minute rune now. While mid lane, Shadow Fiend, Pseudo-Me does have to use his ultimate here. Pasquetti just going to steal the rune now, and it looks like maybe they're going to make it go on a 1-1-2. Pasquetti doesn't have his ultimate just yet, still only level 5. Is going to turn and help to get the kill, and that's going to give him his early level 6 here. 6 minutes in, and he's found himself quite a bit in this off lane. Hasn't really gotten harassed out all that much. MYS now going to rotate to the off lane, soak up a bit of EXP, and this is a really nice play for him. As Lich is going to get a kill on Shadow Shaman bot lane alongside Safe Farm. And it looks like the Radiant really getting a lot out of this game so far. Their laning stage is absolutely leagues ahead of the Dire. And this is a bit unfortunate as the Shadow Fiend, he's got a good catch-up mechanism. He certainly does. But doesn't mean that he wants to fall behind whatsoever. Now with only 11 souls here, not going to be all that happy. Has a 5 wand charge. But really slowed down in terms of farm here, as we do have a double stack by this Lich, I imagine. Probably the one that got the stack here. These Kunkka illusions going to be a little bit of an annoyance. Lich almost finishing up the Tranquil Boots here, not that far off. As we do have the full treads completed on the Phantom Assassin, just about to hit the level 6 now, as it looks like they may be looking for a gank. Shadow Fiend rotating up alongside the Kunkka. There it is, the Torrent to start things off. We've got the Hex, as well as the 1 point into the Shackles, and Safe Farm's got to be a little bit careful. It looks like he's going to be able to get away thanks to the mischance, but now 1-1-2 is coming up from the side. Is going to look for the raise, not going to be able to get it, and that's a lot of wasted time here. Legion Commander, meanwhile, in the top lane, is going to get the kill on the Legion, on the Keeper of the Light, and that's a nice 10 dual damage already 7 minutes in. Pasquetti really happy with his positioning here. I'm sure he's very comfortable with that. Found himself some levels, even finding himself a duel this early on. Storm Spirit is going to rotate into the jungle, and is still fairly good at jungling here. Doesn't have the 4 points into the overload. We'll be able to just clear through these creep camps, but does go for the Null Talisman, and now looking for the jungle. Looks like he is going to stack it one more time there, and that's going to be nice timing from him. Should just barely get it there. Looks like he will. His bot lane, Shadow Shaman will get a kill on the Phantom Assassin, it seems. Getting out a little bit too aggressive here. Just need a shackle and a couple. Looks like a 3-raise combo from the Shadow Fiend, and he will be putting points into Ether Shock here. Really wants that nuke damage, despite the fact that I guess it could be worth it. Definitely going to give you a lot of nuke, going to give you a lot of push here. MYS is going to finish a Soul Boots or Soul Ring Tranquil as well, and he's going to have quite a bit of regen. Pasquetti as well. Finding himself some CS in the mid lane. Grabs a bounty rune as well as his completed treads now. And for an off-lane Legion commander, he's looking fairly good here. Bot lane, meanwhile, it looks like there is a TP rotation in from the Kunkka. Doesn't have boat or anything really yet, so not going to be able to do all too much just yet. And that's going to be a secure kill from this Lich, as well as the PA in the bot lane on the Shadow Shaman yet again. 1 for 4. He's only got 2 CS as well, and in a really bad position himself. Kunkka's got to be careful. They could kill him here. They've got the dagger slow if they want to spend it. Look at the crit strikes, as well as the Lich going to give a little bit of nuke damage there to that as well, and it looks like that's going to be enough to secure the kill on the Kunkka. Nobody can come anywhere near this bot lane. It's absolutely so scary. MYS going to throw out a fissure in this bot lane here. Or excuse me, in this top lane, as it looks like we are going to have a TP in from Pasquetti. He's going to pressure out these enemy heroes. Hasn't finished up his treads yet, or at least picked them up off the shop, or the courier here is going to throw out an overwhelming odds. Maybe if he caught a couple more creeps in there, could have been enough to get the kill. He's just running, turning around now, trying to get away from SKTB, who does spend the ultimate here. Meanwhile, MYS has the fissure, excuse me, the Echo Slam if he wants to spend it. Looks like he's going to throw out the fissure, and a nice block from MYS, holding onto it to the very last second, and that's a big rotation, as we've got a full bottle from Pasquetti, as well as the wand charges to heal him up. Meanwhile, in the backside, 1-1-2. The Lich is going to spend the ultimate. Pasquetti wants to use the duel. He's going to spend it. There it is. Another victory for Pasquetti. Spudomi is going to jump in, get the kill into Woke. There it is. Should be enough to get the kill. Yakas, meanwhile, on the opposite side of the fissure, is going to go down here as well. I imagine Storm Spirit. 1-2. Right click. It's going to be enough to get a kill. And that's a double kill, as well as 3 kills overall. And a duel going the way of Pasquetti. And this game is really going to start to get turned for the Radiant now. Bot lane PA just getting a ton of free farm here. Does manage to grab herself a Morbid Mask, so she's got a lot of sustain in lane now, alongside that Basilius. And the Dire is going to have a tough time dealing with her later on in the game. As the Shadow Fiend as well as the Medusa are going to have to grab perhaps an early MKB. Shadow Fiend will have the raises early on to help at the very least, so not all that bad. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Liara is going to get cut out a little bit. Still no level 6. Isn't going to have that boat to help him out any bit, and it looks like there's the overwhelming odds from Pasquetti, who has the duel. Wants to continue to chase over here on a Yakas. Not going to be able to do so, as there's no mana on the Storm Spirit and no nuke over here on the Lich. So not going to be able to do anything. Doesn't have the Frost Blast, and they're just going to end it there. 14-2 so far, and just look at this net worth graph this early on. A massive lead for the Radiant right now. If we take a look at the net worth leaders, it's all 3 of their cores. Even the off laner beating up the safe laner now, 3.9k. Medusa not all that far off, but really, you don't want to be that far off, or even with the enemy off laner. You want to be leagues ahead. As the Kunkka and the Shadow Shaman, look at this. Even the Kunkka is lower than the Earthshaker, as well as the Lich in terms of net worth here, and this is huge. He can't come up to this creep wave. He's got to be so careful of safe farm. Still hasn't hit level 6 just yet, and now safe farm's just going to look to pressure him out a little bit. The Shadow Shaman is nearby though, so doesn't want to get all that aggressive here, as he is going to pick up the finished helm. Probably look to stack the Ancients, as they do find 1-1-2. It's getting pinged out here. They have this nice aggressive board in the top lane. Going to find them behind the tower. Looks like Pasquetti is just going to run into 1-1-2 here. Does have a double damage rune as well, so this is going to be a nice duel. Look at that haste DD. Are you kidding me right now? 1-1-2 is going to get called out here. MYS is showing up with the fissure as well, and this should easily be enough to get the kill. They're going to wait to start it off with the duel. There it is. The fissure actually going to come up first, and now Pasquetti. There it is. There's the duel. The blinding light, though, going to prevent the duel from getting finished, and are we going to at least see a kill? Echo Slam is going to be spent by MYS, and Pasquetti, a little bit unfortunate. He's not able to finish up the duel damage there. Does still have 20 damage, and he's alright with that. They at least secure kill onto the Shadow Fiend, and now the Shadow Fiend really far behind himself. Nobody really working towards any big items just yet, but the Shadow Fiend, with only 14 souls, he's 0-4, 60 CS at 13 minutes in, and he's not all that happy with where he's at right now. Safe farm, on the other hand. Very confident in his late game ability, as well as his mid game fighting potential here. No points in a split shot yet for the Medusa here. Pseudo-Me is just going to look to jungle up a little bit while he's got the time here. They're going to wait for the creep wave. Perhaps look to get a dual kill on the Medusa. Everybody kind of standing around, and they've got a lot of mana shield to chew through. They can certainly do so, though. Meanwhile, Lich at the bot lane is going to get a kill on the Shadow Shaman, and there it is. They are going to start on the Medusa. She's going to get the ultimate off the pullback, though. Pasquetti is going to get frozen up, and now it looks like that's going to be the end of the gank. The TP in from Yakas is going to be enough to prevent it. Meanwhile, the boat's going to get thrown out. Safe farm. It's just going to turn on the Kunkka. The crit. The miss chance isn't going to be enough. Isn't going to be enough. Safe farm is just going one-on-one. No, he doesn't even just try to juke that Kunkka, and going to be able to secure the kill with the Torrent. At the very least, the Kunkka is going to go down here from the Lich, but I'm sure they're happy with killing that PA. As Yakas in the background, going to be the next duel target. Doesn't have the blinding light. Paschetti not going to be able to get the duel. He's just going to die too quickly here. And are they going to look to dive the tower? There's no creep wave for them to do so, though. And looks like Paschetti finally going to grab that Glove of Haste and finish up his treads. We are at the 14-minute mark now, and it does seem like Paschetti has 1,700 gold. Probably going to look for the Blink Dagger next. And really, this Coddle's going to have to be so careful once Paschetti gets the Blink Dagger. There's 20 damage early on. It's going to mean the world of a difference here. And this does look like Shadow Fiend does ward up in his jungle. Does only have 7 souls now, and that's huge. Safe Farm going to go down almost certainly here. The boat to follow it up, and Safe Farm is going to get caught in that AoE. So a double raise, a torrent, and a boat. Going to be enough to secure the kill in the PA, and she was doing really well. Now, unfortunately, though, she's slowly dipping in this net worth chart as she's died twice very consecutively here. Liara is going to go for the double bracer build alongside that wand, so he's got a lot of HP here, but realistically isn't really threatening that much into the mid game. As Paschetti alongside MIS just going to rotate to take this tower top lane. There's the fissure onto Yakas. He is looking for the blinding light here. He's going to spend it, but not before MIS manages to get the kill onto the tower here. Paschetti is going to eat an Illuminate and maybe a little bit more damage. Actually, no, just going to keep channeling that Illuminate. Paschetti going to be confident with where he's at right now. Meanwhile, they are going to find the Kunkka in the jungle. Storm Spirit alongside Raeba. Going to be able to secure that kill. And he's got 2.2k now on the Lich here. And Shadow Shaman is going to manage to destroy bot tower with these wards here. Safe Farm does TP in. Is going to maybe look to farm up these wards. But instead, just going to run away and go to the creep lane here. Is going to secure 1 CS with that dagger. Not going to get the second one there. Or the third one, I guess I should say, is Yakas. Just running around the jungle, looking for a bracer of his own so he can tank up at least a little bit against this Legion commander. All it really takes is a fissure, a blink duel, and that's going to be an easy kill here as the Radiant is looking to fight in the mid lane here. There's the Illuminate, only going to hit on one, though. Pseudo-Me going to be the only target. Liara is going to show up, doesn't spend the boat just yet. The Arl just going to back out now. Paschetti with the blink initiation, though. This could be a massive team fight. Just needs to get overwhelming odds on perhaps a couple creeps as well as a hero. Not going to be able to do so, though. And instead, just going to wait for this top rune. It is going to be a DD now. And everybody just kind of splitting up on the Dire. They don't want to give too many duels away. Going to be a little bit too easy as Paschetti alongside Pseudo-Me in the jungle here. Looks like they will find the Kunkka now, and it looks like the Kunkka may be the target. There it is. DD going to be popped. The bring back. No, he's not going to be able to catch him with the Electric Vortex. Meanwhile, Paschetti going to show up. There's the overwhelming odds. Just needs to spend it, and he's going to go straight on Dwoke. The boat's going to come in. The miss chance not going to be enough, though. Paschetti on the wrong side of the fissure now. Has to be a little bit careful. SKTB shows up. The Lich is going to throw out the ultimate. Not going to be enough to secure the kill over here onto the Medusa just yet. Paschetti still taking out quite a bit of damage. Has the heal. Echo Slam going to be used. Overwhelming odds yet again going to be thrown out. Wand Charge going to be used. SKTB still so tanky. The last fissure going to be enough to secure the kill. Pseudo-Me's got to be careful. The raises from 112 doing a lot of damage. Yaka's quite low here as well. Has to be careful himself. We do have another overwhelming odds in 1 second wearing off, as well as the bottle regen from Paschetti. Not going to want to continue this fight, and it seems like now the PA is going to be able to find herself the bot tower here. Not going to secure the last hit though. And 22-4 is now our score. Little bit of a rhyme there, but Paschetti is going to pressure the mid lane alongside Pseudo-Me and Raeba Reborn. Do you have the overwhelming odds? Paschetti just going to look to tank it up a little bit with the Frost Armor here. As they will get it. Storm Spirit going to be the one taking the last hit there. As we'll see if it's going to be the Blade Mail over here on Paschetti. Probably going to be the easiest option here, especially up against some of these heroes with high burst damage like the Shadow Fiend, perhaps even the Kunkka. If you get a Tidebringer hit, we see does do quite a bit of bonus damage now as well. As, the PA is going to rotate into the jungle. Grab this double stack. Doesn't have all that much aside from this, though. Hasn't been stacking the Ancients, although there is a triple stack on the Ancients, I believe. Freaking 8 armor now on the Ancient Black Dragons. That bonus armor in an AoE makes it so difficult now. As it will be, I believe, a Manta Style over here from Safe Farm. Could be the SNY. I think Manta Style is very underrated on PA, though. It means you can farm a lot safer. You can use the Manta if they have a, they do have a blinding light, but you can use the Manta if they've got a silence. You can use the Manta while you push a wave. Leave one of the illusions behind, and you always have a Phantom Strike target, which is actually very important for farming. It almost gives you a guaranteed escape mechanism if you use it at the proper timing. Pretty good damage on the illusions, especially if you get something like a medallion here, as it looks like she will be moving over to the ancients. I don't think she can do these though. Although with Paschetti showing up here as well, going to give her the heal and bonus attack speed as well. Really going to help her regen up a bit here, and she should probably be going for the black dragons here if she wants to start eating through some of this armor. It's just going to go for the smaller creeps first, and this is going to help her out a little bit here. Is getting some nice crits, about 600 crit. She does find her level 11, and that's pretty huge for the coup de grace. Spot lane, the Medusa does have some nice stat items, but aside from that, with 1800 gold, we're going to see what she's going to be grabbing here. Probably going to have to move into something like the Mjolnir if she wants to get a lot of physical damage out. Perhaps something like the Manta style as well alongside this Phantom Assassin, but really going to have to struggle with that mischance. Paschetti, it looks like, will be going for the Blade Mail here, while MYS does find a blink and a smoke of his own, so there's a lot of initiation now on the side of the Radiant, and it looks like there's the long zip in onto Dwoke. Pseudo-Me gonna find himself caught out, probably just gonna end up trading. No, is he? Yes, he is gonna end up trading. The Lich ulti is gonna keep bouncing around here, as it looks like SKTB gonna be the next target. Look at the damage from Safe Farm. The Echo Slam from MYS gonna land on 3, the boat to follow up on his Safe Farm. Look at the damage, the follow-up Requiem, as well as the Tori now as well. Paschetti blinking into the trees here. SKTB still so low right now. Paschetti needs to jump out and do whatever damage he can, but it's too late. It seems he's got the blink, the duel if he can find it, but he won't be able to. And a miss blink from Paschetti. Unfortunately, looks like it may cost his team a lot more than they had originally expected. Not going to be able to find the kills, and it will be a 2-for-0 trade here. And it was very close to being a lot more than that, and actually, we had a buyback here, so it was actually a 3-for-0 trade as well as a buyback on a Stay Farm here. Really needs to find the kill on the Shadow Fiend right now. And he will do so. Needs to take the haste though. Oh no. This is the worst luck that you could have hoped for. And now 1-1-2. Just going to pressure out Safe Farm. As Paschetti looking for the duel in the background. He's going to find himself caught out in the wrong side. He's going to use the duel though. And now it's because he's got 3 heroes with him. There it is. He's going to get the win. But he's going to go down thanks to the War Trap of the Shadow Shaman. As well as the follow-up Ether Shock here. Looks like Drum Charge is going to be used. Kunkka running in. He's got a jumps of his own. MYS going to get caught out. Looks like he is going to get Torrent, as well as the boat going to be a little bit off mark, I believe. He's going to be able to get the Fissure out at the very least. Sword Spirit is going to eat the boat, though, and he's going to go down, and that means MYS could be the next target here. He's going to find himself a rune. Not going to pick it up, though. Just going to leave it there as he is too busy running away from the entire Dire team here, it seems. Illuminate is going to hit on a couple of Mud Golems, though, so not going to be all that effective here. As we do see the Lich throw out the ultimate, surprisingly enough, Dwoke is going to at least tank one of those here. Is just going to use it to push out the creep wave, and the bounces over here on the catapult only going to do a little bit of damage with that 80% magic resistance. As we do see double TP's bot lane, it's going to be 1-1-2 alongside SKTB, and it looks like they may want to go try to kill your Safe Farm here, and are they going to be able to do so? There's the blink up over on a 1-1-2. Has to be so careful right now. Safe Farm's got a lot of damage. Requiem going to be channeled, as well as the Medusa ultimate. Safe Farm just going to try and TP out. Go to the other side, Medusa. Oh, not going to be able to prevent that. Went for it. Wasn't going to be able to hit it, though, and it looks like it will be the Manta style. If he's going to go for the SNY, probably would finish up the Ogre Club now, as it looks like 3 heroes rotating in the mid lane. Paschetti is in the top lane. A huge jump from Pseudo-Me is going to find the Kunkka with this aggressive ward here from MYS, and that's going to be a tough location to find. Probably going to expect it to be somewhere on top of that cliff, but nowhere near there. Instead, Paschetti is going to finish up his Blade Mail, get it brought out to him, and should probably pick up a TP here as well. Legion Commander really good at split pushing thanks to overwhelming odds. Dealing quite a bit of damage here is Paschetti. Probably going to look to TP mid here with his team, or start running towards mid. Another long zip in here. They're looking for the Keeper of the Light. MYS going to blink in. There's the Enchant Totem, and plenty of damage alongside the DD of Pseudo-Me, the Fissure, to keep the rest of the team out here. And it looks like they'll be able to clean up that kill scot-free here, as it will be a Sage pickup for 1-1-2. Really just needs to tank up. Maybe thought about going for the BKB. Not going to be able to pick it up before the Radiant is going to continue to pressure them now. And looks like Phantom Assassin is going to rotate to the bot lane. Does decide to buy an item here, as it will be the Sage. So is going to go for the SNY here. Don't see this all too often on PA, but they will get the Lesser Maim on Stifling Dagger. That could mean a lot of catch here. They do have a lot of catch now. They've got the double blink. They've got the Fissure Lich. Keep hearing the Lich ultimate getting thrown out here. Pseudo-Me still with that DD off cooldown. It looks like Liara does have the X, does have the Torrent, does have the boat as well. Is going to use it. There's the Hex up on a Pseudo-Me as well. MYS looking like he wants to think about the Echo Slam. Just going to turn around afterwards though. Not going to continue to chase it here. Not very comfortable alongside 5 Dire Heroes. And it looks like he's really got to run right now as Ryla Reborn is coming in here as well. Doesn't have the Lich ultimate for another minute it seems. There's the X as well as the follow-up Torrent. MYS thinking about going in for the Echo Slam. Not going to do so. Doesn't have enough mana as Paschetti is going to throw an overwhelming odds in. Maybe we could see MYS just save the Echo Slam now and is going to get bottled up here. This could be huge. They are positioning themselves fairly well. The Fissure to start things off, and it looks like they're going to think otherwise. Not going to throw out the Echo Slam. Paschetti, though, has another idea here. Does use the W here. Is press the attack. Going to give him a little bit of HP here. Maybe still getting ready for this fight as it looks like we are getting some TPs bot lane. They could look to catch some people. Paschetti does use the press the attack yet again. SKTB is going to TP bot as it looks like this PA doing so much work right now. 112 not going to go down though. And it looks like they'll kill Phantom Assassin yet again in this graph. The Radiant's still ahead, but from the 12-13k lead they had down to about 4k. EXP still ahead yet again as it looks like the Shadow Shaman going to get caught out. Pseudo-Me finding himself another kill there. Not going to decide to go for the Bloodstone after the Orchid. Instead going to be moving over towards what I imagine is going to be the BKB here. Top lane Yakus is just going to pressure the lane out. Does go for the Glimmer Cape himself. As it looks like SKTB is getting called out. He will be going for the Manta Style himself here, so gonna have a nice bit of DPS here as it looks like they've got the Aghanim Scepter on the Lich. And he's gonna prevent the enemy team from doing the Ancients here. Just gonna throw up the ultimates now. If anybody walks near these Ancients, they've got to be so careful. SKTB looks like he's going for it. Is going to bring them along and should see the Lich ultimate here. It's just going to jump to SKTB and that's it though. As it's still bouncing between the Ancients here. And it looks like they may know what's going on here. If they can get that Lich ultimate bouncing yet again, they could maybe perhaps get a double Lich ulti here. It is going to bounce right back to the Ancients yet again. Still not done there just yet as Raeba Reborn. It looks like they are going to find the Kunkka now. He's going to Shadow Blade instantly. Paschetti going to throw out the Blade Mail. Still getting X'd up here though as the Lich Ult does bounce across a couple of heroes doing a little bit of damage. And he's still got another one in the chamber if he wants to spend it. Liara is looking perhaps for the right click alongside his Shadow Blade here. Not going to spend it as they do have a Sentry Ward in the mid lane. PA just going to rotate to the top lane and start to split push yet again. So despite going for an SNY, she's been doing a lot of split pushing and she's grabbing items that let her farm early on, but she's not really doing so as we do have another press the attack from Paschetti here. Does have 44 dual damage now as well, and we've got a nice ward up here on Liara. Looks like they're thinking about starting the team fight onto him. A little bit worried about what could happen here, and it looks like they will go for it here. It looks like the X marks the spot, going to start off on a Paschetti here. They are going to go for it. The Torrent to start things off here as well. Paschetti does have the Blade Mail if he wants to spend it. The Fissure cutting this entire team fight in half, and it looks like that's going to be the end of it. Now with the Medusa ultimate, the Dive's got to be so careful. MYS does have the Echo Slam, and they've got to be careful. There's a creep wave here as well. MYS waiting for the Echo Slam. Not going to blink in just yet. The Lich Ult going to be thrown out, going to be dealing a lot of damage. 112 is going to channel the Requiem here. Raeba is going to eat a lot of that. Another Fissure to prevent the team fight from continuing on here. Paschetti running into the backside. They are going to find 112. He is glimmered up. Not going to be enough to get the dual damage though, and it looks like meanwhile he does get the dual elsewhere onto the Shadow Shaman. It looks like, I'm not sure who we got it on. Yakus is going to get chased down here as well, and that's going to be a 4-for-0 trade here. Looks like he does manage to get on the Medusa, yeah, on the backside. So Paschetti, I was wondering what was going on in that fight, but the Medusa without the ultimate, easy duel for Paschetti here. MYS did spend the Echo Slam as well, and looks like they will grab the Medusa in the back with those abilities, and they're pretty comfortable with that. Just more dual damage for the Legion, getting stronger and stronger, almost hitting that level 16, and with 2k now as well. We'll see what she's going to want to go for. X marks the spot, was used now on the Kunkka for himself here. Going to use the Shadow Blade hit, but not going to hit anything with it. We'll see if anybody's going to look to grab a Yule Scepter to prevent this X marks the spot on the Kunkka, as it looks like, just as I say that, MYS going for the Yule Scepter of his own. Storm Spirit and PA still leading the net worth, although the Medusa isn't far off after the PA died a couple times there, Legion. Paschetti still very close to SKTB as well, though. All it really takes is one more fight, perhaps a tower, to really start surpassing that net worth gain. As it looks like the next team fight will be top here. The Shadow Fiend. How many souls does he have, though? Only 18. Can't really fight. Has a Shadow Blade. Perhaps looking to finish up the Silver Edge. Is going to get caught out here. As they do see Paschetti as well. Does have the duel if he wants to start things off. MYS is going to catch out the Shadow Fiend. And look at that. It looks like the first fight is going to go right onto the PA here. The Fissure going to split up this fight yet again. As the ultimate going to be used over here by the Lich as well as the Medusa. Medusa continuing the chase here. And it looks like they maybe could turn it around. No Echo Slam for another 20 seconds. Requiem is going to get channeled. Only going to hit on a couple of heroes though now. And it looks like Paschetti. There's the Manta as well from the Medusa dealing so much AoE damage. Safe Farm is going to get the kill into the Shadow Fiend. Is going to go down herself now though. And MYS, 10 seconds till he's got the ultimate. Could look to turn it around alongside Paschetti, who doesn't have all that much mana. They're continuing to chase. They've got the illusions here as well. They don't have the ultimate on the Lich, though. And I don't believe they'll be able to get anything. Probably just going to let the Lich die. That seems like it will be the call here. Seems like the PA a little bit upset. Paschetti does find himself 2.5k, though. Maybe going to move in towards a BKB here. Doesn't want to get hexed up. Doesn't want to get torrent or boated. Still will find himself on the wrong end of that Medusa ultimate though. Does go through magic immunity. That could be the major issue here. Especially if he's looking for a dual. Illuminate as well. Split shot going to be used to clear this top wave. As we do now have the Aghanim Scepter finished up on the Shadow Shaman. Oddly enough, is going to go for the Aghanim Scepter. I think he probably would have wanted the Blink for the initiation. Get that Blink Hex, maybe able to kill the Storm Spirit. He's just going to deny that Illusion Rune. Not even going to take it for himself here. And he's going to throw down a Sentry of his own. Not going to find anything though. As Pseudo-Me does manage to finish up his BKB now at the 30-minute mark. Paschetti looks like he'll be going for the AC, it seems. Perhaps the Shivas, but probably going to be the AC up against the Shadow Fiend here, as well as the physical damage from the Medusa, and even the wards being dropped down here from the Shadow Shaman. A lot of physical damage coming here from the Dire. Basher now picked up on the Phantom Assassin, and are we going to have any Dagger Bashes this game? As it looks like we are going to have a TP buff from the Kunkka, perhaps going to look to kill the PA yet again. Shadowblade to start things off. All they need is the X marks the spot. It looks like 112 is going to go down though, and Safe Farm now can turn around and maybe kill Ayara. There's the first hit bash, or excuse me, the second hit bash. Really needs some crits for the lifesteal though. Now Kunkka going to be taking some delayed damage. Meanwhile, it looks like there was a fight mid lane. Shadow Shaman is going to go down. Medusa going to rotate in, and it looks like Safe Farm is going to go down here. Meanwhile, the Radiant is really rotating down. They don't have the Medusa ultimate anymore. Looks like they're just calling out to go for a Roshan. Maybe thinking otherwise here. It's another enchant totem going to be used. They do find SKTB over here in the side shop. Orchid it up as well, as it looks like there's Paschetti going to blink in. Does have the duel, is going to spend it now as well. And it looks like SKTB going to give Paschetti more duel damage. And that's huge. Getting stronger and stronger now, hitting 72 damage, 2200 gold. And it looks like the Radiant's going to get ready to pressure the mid lane perhaps. They will need an Aegis if they want to push high ground though, as they've got the Illuminate. They've got the Kunkka here as well, the defensive wards even if they want to spend those, and it's going to be difficult for the Radiant. They're really going to have to try and find their openings over here while they pressure, and not going to be easy by any means. Let's see who they put the Aegis on. Probably going to throw it on Paschetti so he can just blink in, perhaps get a duel off a little bit more dangerously, as the Dire does have an Observer ward as well as a Sentry ward. They do know what's going on, and Illuminate is going to hit the pit, but with no follow-up. MYS does have to be a little bit careful himself, though. He's just going to run out of the pit here. Ern going to go on Raeba instead of MYS here. Now they're getting a little bit scared. They don't have an Observer ward. They do see now that the Shadow Shaman is just rotating in a little bit late. Another Illuminate going to catch them now, and now the Radiant's got to be a little bit careful. The Shadow Fiend is rotating in. Paschetti's still pinging it out. They really do want to complete it, and it looks like one more Illuminate in the pit, and they will see now that nobody is there. And it looks like they're going to look to catch Dwoke here. Leara is nearby there, and look at that. A nice setup with the Torrent. It's going to get the kill. Meanwhile, in the background, SKTB going to channel the ultimate. A couple races from 112. Paschetti's got to be careful. 112, it looks like it's going to go down. Not going to win the duel. Actually, he will win the duel. Paschetti barely going to get that victory, as it looks like Boat is going to be the kill onto two heroes. Paschetti as well as the Lich going to find themselves in the wrong place, wrong time, wrong end of that Boat. As Safe Farm is going to go down here as well. The X to bring him back. The Mischance not going to keep him alive long enough, and that's going to be a 3-for-2 trade. They can't finish Roshan off, though. Or can they? As SKTB hitting quite hard now himself. And it looks like they will be able to here. Storm Spirit doesn't TP in. Isn't going to look for the long jump. And this is getting very close here. But it looks like Storm just going to rotate to the bot lane. As Roshan just about to die here. Glimmer Cape even going to be used here. And look at this. Roche so low right now. There's the Aegis going the way of the Medusa. And now this is a tank that they've got to try and chew their way through. Just getting stronger and stronger with these stats here. And alongside that Aegis. Certainly going to be a difficult task here for them. As PA is pinging out SKTB here. They do see her, I think, somehow. As it looks like there's a long jump from the Storm. Pseudo-Me is going to be able to pop the Aegis. And a nice pick off from them. That was huge. That was huge. That Observer Ward, absolutely, potentially game-winning there. Losing out on the Aegis is massive. As that's a huge tool that the Dire need to come back here in these team fights. As it looks like Kunkka's still not that comfortable anywhere here. He's just going to use X marks the spot. Does have the Silver Edge. As well as the Crystallis here. Silver Edge completed as well as on the Shadow Fiend. So, going to prevent the PA from using her passives here. If they can get that Silver Edge proc as top lane. MYS is going to push it out here. Has to be a little bit careful as it looks like the rotations are coming up. MYS does smell it seems though. And will just start to back off here. Does buy Boots of Travel of his own. So MYS finding himself some nice farm. Boots of Travel, Eul's Blink Dagger. Pseudo-Me with 2.5k here. We'll see what he's going to want to grab after finishing up his BKB. Probably going to be looking towards the Bloodstone perhaps, although it did get nerfed, so maybe not really liking it all that much as Pescetti. He's got quite a bit of farm himself, and looks like he did spend a lot of it. Is it on the Courier? It looks like it is, so it will be the AC just about ready to go onto Pescetti here, and that's going to give them a lot of team fight as well. That 5 bonus armor, as well as the 5 negative armor on the enemy team, especially if somebody picks up a Vlad's, they'll have a nice bonus 10 armor here. As it looks like MYS looking for the fissure, not going to be able to find it though. And instead, just going to cancel it. Pescetti alongside Safe Farm, just going to push out the top lane here. And it's just going to look to go into the enemy's jungle. Perhaps, actually, no, it looks like he's going to stay in lane while the PA rotates into the enemy's jungle here. He's going to grab TP, maybe? No. Just going to rotate into the jungle, waiting for somebody to show in the top lane, perhaps to pressure out Safe Farm. Or look for the solo kill here, but the entire Dire is in the mid lane as well as the bot lane here. Shadow Fiend just going to look to try and get himself some more. It's moving into the BKB now, I imagine. And with that, he's going to be quite tanky himself as well, thanks to the Silver Edge, the Strength Treads, and a little bit of bonus armor here from the Aquila. So he will find himself a nice little bounty rune, so about 130 gold, not all that bad whatsoever. Top lane, we are going to get some TPs in. Kunkka looking like he wants to start it all off, is going to clear the creep wave. Yakus could find himself on the wrong end of a duel, but it looks like they are just going to back out now. Not really sure where the rest of the team is. Kunkka is going to start things off with the Silver Edge and will disable Safe Farm. No, it looks like he's not going to. Just going to use the Hex instantly. There's a nice purge from Pescetti though, and now it looks like the boat's going to come out on a Dwoke, and it's going to miss on everything though. Dwoke actually going to War Trap himself. SKTB running over here so he can try to get the Medusa ultimate off. Stoneform not going to land on anybody, and now MYS with the Echo Slam could look to turn this fight around. Illusions here as well, and it looks like maybe this could be a big Echo Slam. Requiem being channeled is going to land on 2 now, and they've got to be so careful. Raeba Reborn is going to go down Safe Farm, looking like he wants to turn around. Fissure to start things off. Pescetti with the overwhelming odds. There's the Echo Slam, not going to do all that much though, and it looks like now they're going to go for the duel. Lyara not going to be able to see in here, and it looks like he is going to be able to escape, and now Pescetti might give up the duel to Yakus, and it looks like he will. Another buyback from the PA as well, and her itemization is going to be so far behind. That's going to be a 5-for-1 trade as well as a buyback, and look at that, massive net worth change. 6,700, that's huge. It is going to start dipping back down towards the even mark here. The Radiant still leading though, and you can really just tell how far ahead they've been all game. The Kunkka, surprisingly enough, coming out from the bottom spot, or one of the bottom spots in terms of net worth, and he's going to take the second highest net worth now, and he's going to be very difficult for the enemy team to deal with. He's going to get the crit. Now Safe Farm is looking to continue on with this fight. Not going to be able to do so though, as Liara is just going to use the Silver Edge top lane. Meanwhile, it looks like they will look to pressure this tower. No wards to throw down, but the Medusa does do quite a bit of damage. Manages to finish up a Scotty as well as 3.4k of her own here, so she's certainly going to be really difficult for them to kill, and with no way of eating through that mana efficiently, as in like an anti-mage or a lion, it's going to be hard to kill this Medusa. Especially if she can get her hands on another Aegis. Killing her twice is going to be a huge feat. Safe farm. Going to find himself a bounty rune there as well. Keeper of the Light as well as Dwoke, just sitting around top lane. It's going to throw out an Illuminate, perhaps looking for somebody at the Ancients. Won't find anybody though. Pseudo-Me still holding on to a lot of his gold. This Pescetti is still about 1,000 off of his AC if he wants to complete it, or is he? Looks like he is. Yeah, Pseudo-Me is going to go for the Bloodstone now. Does decide to spend his gold, and with the completed Bloodstone, if they win another few fights, they could look to finally snowball and finish up with the victory in this game, as it is 38-23, 39 minutes in, so quite a high kill score so far. Pseudo-Me is going to rotate into the jungle with that nice bit of regen. Really going to be able to get a lot out of his farming potential here. As Safe Farm does move into the jungle himself here. Will find himself 1,600 gold after buying back, so not all that bad. We are going to have a TP mid from the Medusa, and it looks like the Dire is ready to fight it as the Kunkka rotating towards the bot lane. Are we going to have a smoke up here? Looks like the Dire here is just going to hang around the lane here. Medusa going to be the front liner. Really unsure if they can kill her at this point. Pseudo-Me is trying to find somebody in the jungle. Won't be able to do so though, as MYS does throw out the Fissure to help secure some CS. Does manage to pick up a gem on himself as well here, so he's got a lot of items in his stash. He's got a ward, he's got dust, smokes, you name it, he's probably got it. And Medusa will rotate to the jungle. She's going to be probably moving over to an MKB. Really help to shut down this PA here. Gives you a nice bit of damage and attack speed as well as on a Medusa. It's always fine grabbing something like that. Sure, you've got illusions. You might want to go for some stat build, maybe a butterfly, but the MKB is just so worth it up against the mischance over here. Pseudo-Me looks like he could get caught out here. The Shadow Fiend maybe wanting to start things off, and this is not what you want to do with your first Bloodstone. Does have a haste rune as well, and it looks like they're just going to back off. Won't be able to find this kill, as it looks like bot lane. There it is. They are going to start it off. The duel from Pescetti, the Enchant Totem as well. They need the Fissure. Don't have it though. Are going to spend the Echo Slam to secure the kill though. And the dual damage, which is much needed now. Hitting about 104. Pescetti does have the AC very soon. Just really needs to pick it up essentially here. Is Dwoke managing to ward trap himself, as Pseudo-Me is going to jump in for the kill. Not going to be able to get it. The Fissure to throw Dwoke right out there. And looks like SKTB is going to pop the ultimate. Dwoke not going to be able to TP out. The Lich ultimate is going to be used as well. The Eul Scepter over on a 1-1-2 going to cancel his Requiem channel, it seems, as Pescetti, as well as the rest of the Radiant. Going to get the mischance. MYS getting blocked up here, and it looks like he won't be able to get killed. The Scotty slow almost enough to secure his death, but not. Just barely going to get out. Safe Farm looks like he wants to continue the chase. He's just going to farm up these wards though, and that's a nice bit of farm. About 30 gold per ward for himself, and now he's got quite a bit of gold here. Does manage to finish up the BKB. This game right back in favor of the Radiant now, as the Dire did take it. Look at that jump back down. But the Radiant slowly bringing it back in their favor. EXP again in the Dire's favor for a brief moment, but the tale is that the Radiant's really been controlling this game for a majority of the time. But at the place both graphs are at now, it's really far too even to call. So it looks like 1-1-2 in the mid lane. Could find himself in a bit of trouble here. They do have the long zip from the Storm. No gem on these heroes, though. It's on the Earthshaker, and he's way far away on the opposite side of the map. So we won't be able to help out with any true set here as Safe Farm has managed to find himself 1 CS in that lane. 1,300 gold now on the Storm Spirit. MYS finding some nice farm around the map, despite having 3 very strong cores here for farming. Has managed to split push out a lot while the rest of his team stays in the jungle, stays pressuring the opposite lanes, and it looks like now SKTB's got to be careful. Pseudo-Me looking to try to find Yuccas on the backside. The Lich ult is going to be thrown out. It's just going to bounce between illusions. Requiem going to be used here as well. Pseudo-Me is going to get the zip out though. It's going to use the BKB, and look at the regen. Is it going to be enough to keep him alive? He's trying to zip out 173 mana on his ultimate now, and is it going to be enough? Needs to zip to the low ground here. Will be able to do so. The race from 1-1-2 not going to be enough. MYS with the Fissure to cut him off, and now in the mid lane it looks like the fight is going to get thrown out. The boat as well as the Basher over here is going to hit off of that dagger. It looks like 1-1-2 going to continue to chase here. Will he be able to do so? MYS going to get the press the attack here, and they do have the Echo Slam as well. They're looking for 1-1-2. MYS has to be so careful right now. Keeping his eyes on the 1-1-2 now. It looks like he is going to start it off with the Eul Scepter. Follow up Enchant Totem, I imagine. There it is. The Fissure as well. They've got the duel. Not even going to use it. Paschetti pumps the Blade Mail ready for the duel, but not going to be able to get there in time. They just want to blow him up as quickly as possible, and they will be able to do so and continue to pressure the mid lane. The creep wave a little bit far off. Bot lane, meanwhile, in the Storm Spirit is going to push out this lane as Roshan is up again. And is anybody going to want to take that with no Shadow Fiend for about a minute? They are going to have to throw down these defensive wards, and Dwoke waiting for the opportune moment to do so here. Is going to get hexed up, and look at that, he's going to go down. There's the stun, SKTB, the follow-up boat, as well as the stone form from the Medusa. State Farm trying to run out, is going to get stone formed up, though. The Eul Scepter trying to hold on to him a little bit longer. The blink out, as well as the Lich ultimate going to be used here as well. State Farm with a nice bit of mischance could be able to get away here. The zip in from the storm. He's going to jump straight onto Yuckus, and now Yuckus in trouble. SKTB, State Farm's going to jump on him. The Echo Slam, the bash as well. That's going to be enough to secure the kill. Tsunomi is going to jump in with the dust as well. MYS with the blink enchant totem, and that's going to be enough to get the kill. And now look at this, the Rax is in danger. The buyback from the Medusa, as well as perhaps the buyback from another hero here. No, the Shadow Fiend going to be up in 10 seconds. They're comfortable with that. State Farm is just going to look to pressure out the creep wave and perhaps look to finish up on the Rax after that, as it looks like the Kunkka will be forced to buy back. And with the Shadow Fiend up in 3 seconds, you probably just want to leave. It looks like they will do so. State Farm going to TP home. Tsunomi going to zip away as well. And that was a massive victory for the Radiant. Not only did they win the fight, they get a duel. They also get 2 buybacks, and yeah, you can really see it in the EXP graph as well as in the net worth graph, jumping right back up to the Radiant's favor here. As SKTB won't be able to finish up his MKB anytime soon here, but despite buying back, still has 2.5k gold, so obviously a very rich Medusa that we saw. And thankfully enough, as if she didn't have buyback, that could have been at the very least the mid-racks, if not potentially the end of the game here. As Kunkka himself, though, is going to find him on the bad end of a buyback and very low in terms of net worth now. After being in that second place, is finding himself very close to Paschetti, who does have 1,200 gold himself. That's a lot of armor now, with 30 armor. It's 1-1-2. We'll just use the Silver Edge, perhaps look to go to his Ancients. Won't be able to get there, as they are down anyways. It looks like maybe they're pinging out Safe Farm in the bot lane. There is going to be a TP in from the Medusa. Safe Farm really needs to get out now. It looks like they're going to try and start it with the mana leak. Isn't going to be able to get it, though, and that's going to be unfortunate. Not enough range. Probably close, but just barely getting out of it, as it looks like now Leara is going to be the next target. The Fisher is going to get thrown out. The boat's going to delay a lot of this damage now. They are going to use the Echo Slam. Leara is going to wand up as well, and he's dusted, but they've got the gem on the Earthshaker as well. Another enchant totem, and it looks like Leara is going to go down, and there it is. Will die now, and that's going to be another kill, as well as a buyback death. Tsunomi with a lot of Bloodstone charges as well. 2.6k EXP, surprisingly enough, off of that kill as well here. And Kunkka level 23, you can see why. As mid lane, it looks like MYS is going to catch out another Blink Euls. They've got the duel as well, and a Paschetti, the Hex on MYS, but it doesn't matter. The real target is Paschetti, who's going to find himself another duel, and now 140 damage. Will be completing a Vlad's. And like I said, going to be grabbing a Vlad's, going to get that nice plus 10 armor here, as well as some bonus lifesteal for his team, 15% damage, and Vladimir's offering just becoming such a good item. Paschetti is going to use the press the attack, blink up, and just melt this tower alongside his team as bot lane. It looks like SKTB, Safe Farm's going to run up at her, and it looks like she should be able to pass over Safe Farm and get her with the stone form here, as it looks like she will be able to do so, as well as the Silver Edge going to be enough to kill Safe Farm. But they might end up trading a little bit of tower damage. The instant buyback from the PA, and this is like the 3rd or 4th buyback from the PA this game. And I'm not sure it's been worth it whatsoever here. As it looks like they will push down the mid lane, and the Kunkka dead for 30 seconds, as well as no fortification. Now for another about minute. Maybe they're going to look for a Roshan. Maybe they're going to look for a Rax. They need to make a decision now, though, as it looks like there's the Octarine Core finished up now on MIS. He's got the Echo Slam as well. Safe Farm doing a nice bit of damage. MKB finished up on the Medusa as well, though, and now it looks like they may look to go on the Shadow Fiend here. 1-1-2 gonna get caught out. There it is, the instant BKB. Safe Farm with the crit. They are gonna duel up over here on SKTB just to hold them down. The Lynch ultimate gonna be thrown out here as well. Dwoke, it looks like they're actually gonna give damage to the Medusa, but it doesn't matter if they can kill her, and they really need to. She bought back the Echo Slam from MYS, as well as the Octarine Core gonna heal him up a little bit. The Requiem being channeled. SKTB is still alive. Reborn is gonna go down. MYS could be the next target, and it looks like they'll kill the Storm Spirit as well. It could be a 5-0 trade. And it looks like he's going to be able to get out at the very least, but it's still a 4-0. Or a 1 buyback, excuse me, on the Shadow Fiend there. And look at the EXP change. 10k EXP swing, about 8k if you take the 2k swing that the Radiant took. But that was absolutely massive. I can't believe what I just saw there. Not the dual target you want to go on Paschetti. SKTB just so tanky. And he's going to give him 18 bonus damage as well. And now it looks like the Dire is just going to look to try and end it here. Probably going to go for a Barracks. They don't have the ultimate off cooldown, or they will actually. They can buy some time with Fissure as well as the Fortification. Earthshaker in the bot lane, though, trying to split push out as best he can. He's going to have to TP home very soon, though. And it looks like he will do so. They are going to fortify. And it looks like Pseudo-Me is going to jump in on the Dwoke. Is he going to get the kill? It looks like no. Not going to be able to do so. There it is. The Orchid, the Soulburn damage. Going to be enough to pop and kill him. And it looks like now the Rax is in trouble. They don't have the Echo Slam just yet. The Fissure buying them a little bit more time. If they can follow up with the Echo Slam and look to get the kills, it looks like Liara trying to outplay the Earthshaker here. He's going to throw out the Torrent, and it looks like the Dire, they're just going to leave it on that one. MYS is going to throw up the Eul Scepter. And it looks like maybe they're going to go for the kill there. The Glimmer Cape on SKTV going to keep them alive a little bit longer. And there's the duel on SKTV again. Paschetti, what are you doing? Not the target you want to go on, and that's more damage now. The Echo Slam from MYS is going to be enough to keep the fight going a little bit longer. Lich ulti we can see going on in the background as Yuckus is going to be the next kill. Pseudo-Me is going to be able to find that. Is going to try and zip out, but it looks like he may go down as well. And now everybody on the Radiant, they are going to have to buy back on the Storm Spirit here. The Dire could just look to end it. If they really, really look for the pressure, they don't have the Lich ultimate. SKTB is just far too strong now. The PA is up, though, and it's going to need a whole lot of luck. There's the jump as well as the Orchid on SKTB. It looks like the PA is maybe pinging it out, wanting to start the fight. The Torrent is going to put Pseudo-Me up in limbo for a little bit. A long jump now on Liara. They do have the Dust as well as the Sentry, though. And are they going to continue to chase it? It looks like they will. Pseudo-Me can't die right now, though. He did buy back. There's the BKB. Trying to stay alive a little bit longer, though. And it looks like he won't be able to do so. The Scotty doing so much slow right now as 1-1-2. Going to try and go up, and it looks like Pseudo-Me is going to be able to survive now. As SKTB just going to rotate to the bot lane now with 4.9k. Probably just buy a Butterfly and become unkillable at that point. As there's no way they're going to be finishing up an MKB anytime soon. And even if they do, the bonus armor is still massive here. So it looks like the gem does get picked up. MYS finally going to lose that. Liara is going to pick it up himself here. And Paschetti maybe learning his lessons. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, as SKTB managing to squeak out 2 duels there. And it looks like it will be the Butterfly. Essentially has it completed as well. Just needs a little bit more farm here. 1-1-2 actually going to take that last CS as SKTB decides to rotate to the bot lane. Eul Scepter now picked up on the Coddle. That's going to be annoying for Auto Illuminate channel there. But it will be annoying over here. Actually going to give him a heal, so maybe that was the play. But it will be annoying for Paschetti as he doesn't have a BKB, nowhere near a BKB. Abyssal is going to be picked up here now on Safe Farm. And looks like Roshan, perhaps Pseudo-Me is going to be able to catch 1-1-2. Just going to turn around though. Really can't get that kill. He's got a BKB. MYS has to be so careful. There's the instant hex on MYS, and now Safe Farm maybe going to look to help him out here. SKTB rotating in from the mid lane. Dwoke instantly going to blow up now, and it looks like MYS going to be able to blink out. Has the Echo Slam, and now with no Shadow Shaman for 64 seconds, they could look to take the fight. Pseudo-Me, as well as the Fissure, going to look to maybe catch somebody out. It looks like they won't be able to do so. There's the overwhelming odds, excuse me, the press the attack from Paschetti here. Pseudo-Me jumping in and out. There's the Echo Slam. Gonna land on 2 heroes. 1-1-2 stunned up now. And it looks like he's got the Requiem channel. And he's gonna use it now as SKTB gonna pop the ultimate as well. Overwhelming odds gonna land on a couple of heroes here as well. Pseudo-Me has to jump out, and Paschetti, they can't continue to fight this. It's a 1-for-1 trade. The Dire probably coming out on top of this trade as well, as it looks like they will. Lich trying to complete the refresher here, but that's certainly going to be a task now as they're so pressured. Paschetti just going to TP home here. 1,500 gold himself. We'll see what he's going to want to grab next. Really probably going to need that BKB. SKDV can finish up the butterfly, but really wants to save for the buybacks now. That's going to be one of the most important things this game is the buybacks. Storm. Looks like he's going to fight in the backside. He's going to have to pop his BKB and TP out here, and we'll be able to stay alive for the time being, as it looks like the Dire just going to melt this bottom tower for the Radiant here. And SKTV getting so much farm. Has the surplus to finish up the butterfly, actually, so not sure why he hasn't just yet. He's in the mid lane. Safe farm finishing up that Abyssal Blade means you won't have the MKB anytime soon. Pseudo-Me, though, does have the gold to certainly start getting there, and looks like he's actually going to go for the Sheep Stick. Still going to help out. 2.9k here on the Medusa. Just look at how hard she hits now. That's in the mid lane. They are going to look to try and find out Paschetti. Blink initiation. Paschetti is going to find his own blink out, though, and he's going to be safe. That's the Coddle. Does have an Invis rune, though, and he's quite fast with that Eul Scepter. They could find Paschetti now, and this is going to be massive. The Earthshaker could look to start things off here as well. Does have the Echo Slam if he wants to spend it. The Dust to go out. Dwoke's going to get cut out here as well. There's the Eul Scepter as well as the boat coming down the torrent. Isn't there just yet. Paschetti going to blow up here. Yak is not going to go down. And that's a lot of heroes now. Safe farm is going to try and pressure out the mid lane. The TP home, though, from the Coddle. Going to prevent him from doing so. And instead, safe farm just going to back out. MYS does have the Boots of Travel. As the mid racks are going to take a little bit of damage, but with the TP home now from Dwoke, not going to be all that much. Safe farm. Can he solo Roche here without the Dire noticing? And it looks like he will be able to do so. The Dire just looking for the last tower in the top lane, bot lane. Meanwhile, we are going to have a TP up from MYS. It's going to look to split push out, and the Dire's probably feeling comfortable with getting this top tower, but this is going to be a free Roshan, and is it a cheese Roche just yet? No, this is only the second Roshan of the game, surprisingly enough. Dwoke in the mid lane is going to go down here as well, as it looks like there's the Orchid to start things off. The Eul Scepter throwing himself in the air, going to perch off that Orchid. BKB over here from Pseudo-Me now doesn't want to get hexed up, really needs to get this kill, and it looks like he will be able to do so, but the Dire are going to be pressuring this Rax top lane, and they really need this Aegis, and they don't have a TP either. Safe farm with no TP. And it looks like they will go Ho to defend. Safe farm as well as MYS. MYS is going to TP. Safe farm just going to run home. There's a long zip in from the Storm. Is going to catch a Liara. Is going to throw up the... wow, look at that. Liara actually going to spend the BKB just to get the Orchid off. Fisher going to hold him back a little bit longer. They do still have the Vision, the channel for the Requiem is going to be used here as well. And now it looks like they could go back in. Reborn is going to get eaten alive here, as it looks like in the backside. The PA is going to look to kill the Coddle. Is going to get the bash. Has the Abyssal Blade. No, he doesn't actually use the Abyssal Blade there. And he still has the Aegis, so it's going to BKB. The Fisher going to buy him some time. It's going to get the kill on his Shadow Fiend. Both going to go down, not going down on anything. No, and Liara trying to pick up the gem. Not going to be able to do so. And now Safe Farm is going to find the kill. Perhaps MYS with the blink up. They could look to chase down Liara. They do have the Vision, I believe, as it looks like no. Storm Spirit not going to be able to catch the Medusa, and Liara is going to be able to get away as well. And this game not over just yet. They spend the Aegis to kill the Shadow Fiend. And now we've got 4.3k on the PA. Really needs to get an MKB if he wants to be able to fight this Medusa. Paschetti just running towards the top lane. It's going to just jungle up a little bit here. Hasn't found a duel in a little bit, as somebody is going to have to TP home, and it will be Safe Farm. Is going to start killing some of these creeps here, and they won't be able to pressure a Rax off of this now. The Medusa is bot lane with no TP here. Won't have one for another little bit, I believe. But 26 seconds, so we'll just have to run home here. There it is. They are going to try and go in the Kunkka. Not going to be able to do so. The TP in from Dwoke, though, and not sure what he's doing now. There's the zip in from Pseudo-Me, as well as the torrent, the ship to follow it up. Dwoke is going to get fissured now, and they've got the Orchid. Paschetti going to blink in, and just as I was saying he can't find a duel, he will be able to do so. The Medusa running back here as well, but now there's no Shadow Shaman for 70 seconds. As it looks like the Kunkka is going to look for a crit. Top lane is going to find it, but not going to be doing all that much damage over here to Pseudo-Me. The refresher is going to get completed here on the Lich, and it looks like they are going to try and kill Pseudo-Me. Won't be able to do so, though. He's just going to walk out, thanks to the press the attack, getting rid of that mana leak here. Paschetti now with 2.4k. Does have buyback. Probably will want to save up for that, as 58 minutes into the game. It's essentially who has buyback status, and looks like the PA, as well as the Medusa and the Legion do have it. Liara is going to look for a nice crit. Will get it. And now Safe Farm's got to be a little bit careful. It's just going to go on Liara, but no, the X going to keep him quite safe here. Safe Farm going to try and run away from the Medusa. The True Strike on her going to prevent the mischance from being all that effective here. Safe Farm is just going to rotate to kill some creeps now. Get a little bit of lifesteal as it looks like the Radiant is pressuring up in the mid lane. They've got the Echo Slam if they want to spend it. Shadow Shaman is going to be alive though. Only 7 seconds before he's up, and it looks like this will be the last fight of the game. The Fissure to start things off, as well as the overwhelming odds. They're going to eat and illuminate on a couple of heroes here. And it looks like now the Medusa, wanting to try and go on Pasquetti, is just going to use the press of the attack, heal up a little bit here. It's Liara. If they can catch him with the Eul Scepter, maybe they can get the kill. Just going to jump back in base now though, and SKTB going to be the next one to be X'd up here. As it looks like Safe Farm will rotate out to the lane. 1-1-2, gonna walk into MYS as well as Pasquetti to start things off. There's the duel to go down. The Requiem's gonna land, but it doesn't matter. They're down the Shadow Fiend for 90 seconds. SKTB gonna use the ultimate. The boat to come out as well as the mischance. Dwoke in the background. He's gonna have to Eul Scepter him up, as well as the Sword Spirit gonna get Eul's. There's the refresher. There's the double Lich ulti, and just look at it bounce. The SKTB is taking so much damage from the Lich ultimate. Liara is gonna be the next target. They have to buy back on the Medusa. There's the blink up. The Enchant Totem on Liara as well. There's the follow-up dagger, and it looks like Safe Farm, the Kunkka's gonna go down. He's got buyback, needs suspended, but no Shadow Fiend for a minute still, and it looks like the Radiant's just gonna look to end it now. There's the buyback on the Kunkka, but they're still confident with taking their axe. SKTB with no ultimate. They are gonna fortify. Looks like Storm Spirit is going to go on a Yakas now, and it looks like he will be able to get the kill. The Eul Scepter up, trying to buy himself some time as well, as it looks like the Eul Scepter on the Liara as well. They will kill the Coddle. SKTB dealing a lot of damage now, and they need to get this Rax and get out. Safe Farm going to be the next target here, and it looks like he will go down to the boat, as well as the right clicks. No, going to be able to blink strike out Pseudo Me though. They could turn around on SKTB, but not going to be able to do so. He's just got way too much damage for them to deal with. Pasquetti just going to throw out an overwhelming odds and blink out, while bot lane, there's a lot of pressure on their tower. They need to TP home. MYS will be the one to do so. We'll blink up. We'll throw out the Fissure as well as the Enchant Totem. Going to get him a nice bit of CS here. And he's got 3.4k himself. So probably going to look to get rid of the Eul Scepter, perhaps. Maybe even trade up the gem, give it to somebody else. Look towards an Aghanim Scepter or a Refresher even. As it looks like the Medusa will move over to the Ancients now. After buying back. Still with 1,700 gold. Won't be able to buy up any type of major item anytime soon, as Pasquetti does finish up a PKB of his own here. PA, meanwhile, does have her MKB as well as 2.5k. Probably going to look to finish up a Satanic. Storm Spirit with 4.5k of his own here. We'll see what he's going to want to grab. Perhaps something like a Shiva's probably be your best bet here. Help clear some of those illusions. Give that negative attack speed. Especially when Medusa's got so much. Give you a nice bit of burst damage as well. Only about 200, but any bit of damage is useful. As Shadow Fiend could get caught out here. Pseudo Me has the Hex if he wants to use it, and it looks like not going to be able to do so in time. 1-1-2, just going to use the Silver Edge and back out. Pseudo Me is going to be able to jungle up, though, and there is a nice regen rune here for him if he wants to take it. Not going to do so, though. Just going to back up. Comfortable with the Bloodstone regen, as it looks like Safe Farm is going to go over here on Liara. Pasquetti looking for the duel, not going to be able to get it though. Instead, just going to pop Blade Mail and turn around, and that's going to be the end of the fight. As they really don't want to go for it yet. There it is, Silver Edge. Pasquetti going to get caught out here. Needs to blink out. No, going to get hexed up immediately. And now the Shadow Fiend. There's the right clicks, the Fissure to stop things. It looks like the Eul Scepter prevent him from continuing to channel the Requiem. There's the duel under the Shadow Fiend now. And it looks like Pasquetti might go down the boat. Pasquetti isn't going to lose the duel. It looks like he will lose this duel as well. Pseudo Me going to get locked down. And it looks like not going to be able to die though. It's going to be able to zip out at the very last second. X marks the spot though. Going to bring him right back. And it looks like he may go out. It's just going to have to use the Pocket Suicide here. And will do so. The game's not over yet. MYS just going to look to start split pushing, and with the Octarine Core Boots of Travel, you can do so very efficiently. Such a low cooldown, 33 seconds on the Boots of Travel here, as it looks like the Dire is just going to try and pressure down the mid lane here. Maybe look to end it, but they do have buyback on the Storm, and They will be able to hold off with the fortification as well as the fissures from MYS. He's getting a little bit scared, unsure of where they are, but we'll see them now in the mid lane, so a little bit more comfortable with his position, I imagine. He's got 5k himself. He's just going to look to TP home, and now it looks like they are going to look for the bot racks. Tower does already have a little bit of damage done to it, and just look at the Medusa eat through it. Probably going to fortify the tower here as they will do so. There's the fissure to start things off here. As well as the Storm Spirit buyback. They're instantly going to go in. The Shadow Fiend, excuse me, the Shadow Shaman's going to go down the Glimmer Cape over here on a Yakus. 1-1-2 trying to stay alive. There's the Echo Slam. SKTB going to get caught out. There's the first Lich ulti. Not going to use the second just yet. SKTB, he's going to go down the second Lich ulti. It doesn't even matter. They've got enough with just a crit. MYS is going to be able to catch Yakus as well. He's got the Glimmer Cape, but with MYS's gem, it doesn't even matter. As there it is, they will find him. The Eul Scepter up. MYS going to use the Enchant Totem. The follow-up Eul is just buying himself a little bit of time, and it looks like he will go down, though. And a monster kill for the Storm Spirit. As no Medusa, no Shadow Fiend, no buyback potential. And that's probably going to be the end of the game. The Dire could just end it now if that's what they want to do. Or excuse me, the Radiant could just end it now. Pasquetti going to run up the mid lane alongside his team, and looks like that will be the call, probably just to hit the towers. He's getting pinged out here by Pasquetti. And it looks like they will begin to do so. They are going to get rid of the creeps at the very least here. Overwhelming Odds going to help out a little bit, but Safe Farm really knows what he wants to go for. The Kunkka going to try and trade at least. Probably not going to go home to defend, although they do have the Shadow Shaman as well. They need perfect teamfight coordination here if they want to defend, but it looks like it doesn't even matter. No fortification. The Ancient's going to go down. The boat's going to be thrown out here, but the game is over. The Radiant's going to come back from the ashes and take it. And what a game it was. So close. The Dire getting a little bit too aggressive at the end there, and the Medusa can't quite tank up enough. And good game, well played. So thanks again, Pasquetti, for sending this in. Hopefully you enjoyed the cast. It was a ton of fun for myself. And hopefully for you guys at home watching, it was a ton of fun. As always, please do check out some of my other series. Subscribe to me on YouTube. Really help me produce some more content for everybody here. Keep doing what I enjoy. And thanks again for watching, guys. Take care. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to check out some of my other videos. I have my series From Lane to Lane where I just cast some everyday pubs that you guys send me. I also do some more professional pubs like games from Koikva, Miracle, whoever I can get my hands on from DotoBuff. I have a learning series as well, so feel free to check that out. There's some more info in the description as well as some videos linked in the annotations at the end here. Thanks a lot.